that when Jesus was crucified, okay, it said in John 19, it says, now it was the day of preparation. This is the day he was crucified, right? It says, when he had received the drink, Jesus said, it is finished. With that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. Okay, that's John 19:30. The very next verse, it says, now it was the day of preparation, and the next day was to be a special Sabbath, or a high Sabbath, or a high Shabbat. Okay? Shabbat Haggadol, I think it is. But it's a high Shabbat, and we talked about this in depth. I won't go into all that right now, but basically, it's a special Sabbath because the day after Passover is a Sabbath. It's a high Sabbath. That's the first day of Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay. Because the Jewish leaders did not want the bodies left on the crosses during the Sabbath, they asked Pilate to have the legs broken and the bodies taken down. Okay. So if you remember, I talked about this before in the other study, is when was Jesus crucified, and how does it tie into the 3.5 days of him, or three days and 3 nights of him being in the grave? Well, check this out. Okay. So if you remember, I proposed the idea that perhaps there were 2 Sabbaths that took place. Okay. And I'm sure I wasn't the first to come up with that. But I didn't see it anywhere else. That was just something God put on my heart. Not saying it is. I'm just saying that was a thought that he gave me. Well, I searched up this time. I had more time, and I looked into it, and I said, well, I'm sure somebody else has put it on has kind of come to that conclusion as well. So I found this, and it's not the best chart, but let me just show it to you. So as you see here, okay, and this isn't done very well, okay, but at least they did it. So I appreciate them doing it. It's just not done very well because they have sundown and sunrise on the same day. And as we know in Jewish days, it doesn't work like that. The day actually begins the day before. So where you see the sundown and sunrise, it should be overlapping. But they have the gist of it correct, which is that they have Thursday as the day Jesus is crucified, Passover, right? And it's also preparation day. See, they wrote preparation day. I can't really highlight things with this, but hopefully you can see that in the pink on the left. That's preparation day, Thursday. The next day is high Sabbath. You see that? Where it says under Friday, on the right-hand side, it says high Sabbath. Then the next day, it says weekly Sabbath. See what I'm saying? So we're talking about 2 Sabbaths back to back. And doesn't that make perfect sense? Because Jesus is in the grave. And because Jesus is in the grave, nothing's being done. Everything goes silent. Everything goes to rest. Right? It's not like he was in the grave for one day of rest and another day of partying, right? Everything's a restful day. So it's a Sabbath. They do no regular work on either day. So they're honoring Christ without even knowing they're honoring Christ. You see what I'm saying? So this really makes sense to me as far as the 3 days and 3 nights go. Because if Jesus is crucified on Thursday and if he's buried when it's still the day, then we've got that day and night, then Friday, day and night, then Saturday, day and night, and then Jesus is resurrected before sunrise. You could argue, depending on how you want to work that out, or if you want to do the night as Thursday and not the day, then he's resurrected the daytime on Sunday. So that would be the 3 days and the 3 nights.